What is self-guided meditation? Self-guided meditation is where we don't rely upon somebody else guiding us through meditation. And it is a method and a style of practice which enables us, if we are ready and confident and clear about our meditation, enables us to go deeper into our practice. Self-guided meditation can be practiced for any amount of time, and we can engage in any style of meditation when we're practicing. Self-guided meditation can sometimes be engaged in with a meditation timer. At the moment on the Mindspace platform, we are sitting in a group meditation using a timer to remind us of our object of meditation and also of how much time has passed through the practice. Self-guided meditation can be practiced with a timer, and personally, I find this beneficial, and I recommend this for those who are starting to explore this style of practice. Now, it's not as though when you practice self-guided meditation, you will stop listening to guided meditations. It's not one or the other. It just may mean that sometimes you choose to practice this style when perhaps you want to go deeper with your practice. You feel confident that you are able to guide yourself. Often people find that when they practice self-guided meditation, they realize that it's not actually that complex and it doesn't require that much effort. And I always encourage people as soon as possible to experiment with this style of meditation. What it does, it empowers you individually to practice meditation anywhere, at any time. You don't need to rely on a device or an internet connection or going to a class or a teacher. You can simply sit anywhere. If you've built up your practice through guided meditations, being led through meditation by a teacher, self-guided meditation is your opportunity to use everything that you've learned in that space. It's very similar to some degree to learning to ride a bike. Yeah, when an individual learns to ride a bike, usually their guardian, their parent, their friend will support them. They will hold the saddle, give them some stabilization, and maybe, even put stabilizers on to give them that sense of balance. But eventually, the child or the cycle student, will go alone. They will take the stabilizers off, and the parent teacher will let go. And then as a consequence of being able to cycle alone, independently, the cyclist can explore so many places. So if you're a cyclist, you will know all the joy or the exploration you've discovered on your bike. Now imagine if you had to have stabilizers on during that time, or you just felt as though you needed your parent or guardian to keep your saddle held as you were cycling. You would to some degree be restricted. You would be dependent on them. Now, it's just an analogy. It's not exactly the same. It's an analogy. What often people find with self-guided meditation is they can go deeper. Because however soothing and relaxing a voice may be, sometimes if you're in deep meditation, you don't necessarily want to hear a voice saying, bring your attention back to the breath, or keep your mind focused on your object of meditation. You want to be left in that space to explore. And a bell, for example, the sound of a bell like this, it's far less intrusive. So if you're in a deep space of meditation and you hear a bell ring, it doesn't necessarily move you out of that space. Also with timers as well, to some degree you know when the bell's going to ring. So for example, on these self-guided sessions, these group meditations, the bell rings every 5 minutes. So you know to some degree when it's going to ring. You're half expecting it. If you're not, it's a reminder to draw your attention back in, and it gives you some sense of progression and how long you've got left. The good thing with an automated timer that you set is that you don't need to keep looking and checking. The timer rings 3 times to indicate the start of the session, 3 times to end it. It rings once to indicate 5 minutes has passed, and then it rings twice as a reminder in the middle of the session to stand up and do some movement, whether that's mindful walking traditionally or could be some form of mindful movement, mindful stretching. We started doing, with the just sitting, the Zen practice. Of course, that doesn't require guided meditation. That is more sitting in that space. But with these group meditation sessions, which are now being offered, you can, if you wished, engage in the just sitting practice, or you can engage in whichever meditation practice you're currently practicing or you feel is beneficial, some meditation practices that you've learned. So you can use this opportunity to sit in a group virtually online at a particular time each day and engage in your practice. So the length of the group meditation is for 1 hour. You could join for the whole hour, or you could join for half of it, or even for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever suits you at this time. I encourage you to explore self-guided meditation, to empower yourself with this practice. Me personally, I moved into self-guided meditation quite early on. That didn't mean to say I didn't practice guided meditation. I carried on practicing guided meditation when I went to retreats, teachings, and so forth, and still do to some degree. But I also practice self-guided meditation. So, it's not one or the other. You can combine the two. But if you start training in self-guided meditation, sometimes you'll give yourself that chance to go a bit deeper. Thanks for your attention, and I wish you joy in your meditation practice.